we have to start over right now, okay? That's all we have to do.
You're cancelling it. You're cancelling the film. What?
No.
You're cancelling.
No! I'm trying to save it! Welcome to
Afro Ranch. From the start to the finish, Afro Ranch. Y'all about to bear witness, Afro Ranch. Going strong from the spinach, Afro Ranch. Time to get down to business.
In this video, I will be turning my animated film into a graphic novel.
Well, technically not just this video. This is going to be a series. It's going to take a couple videos because graphic novels are pretty big. So
in this video, I'm going to be figuring out the style of how the graphic novel is going to look. So, come with me on this journey. But first, we'll need to travel back to where it all began. Step 1. The animated film. The year was 2023, and I was young and full of ideas.
I wanted to write a screenplay.
It was my first time writing anything as robust.
Before I had only written for cartoons that I was working on, which were only maybe 11 pages.
But there were bigger, more robust stories that I wanted to tell. So I took it upon myself to learn how to screenwrite and write a full-length feature. And it was called The Nuclear Family! A family drama about a superpowered family that hides their abilities from the world. And right in the center of the story is our titular hero, Cayne Murdoch.
Cayne is a 16-year-old boy who's the outcast and black sheep of the family, who wants nothing more than to gain his dear old daddy's love and adoration.
And the thing is, yeah, I don't even remember when I first came up with this idea, but I remember I wanted to do it because I was watching so many animated movies at the time, especially Spider-Verse. That movie like blew my mind. So when I started doing this, I said I want my own Spider-Verse, especially like a black protagonist, something like that. So that's just what I started doing, and I started writing and loving it, and it was consuming my entire days, my entire being, and I couldn't stop. To the point where I was doing the entire filmmaking process. So this includes creating mood boards, not only for the characters, but the design of the film, how I wanted the backgrounds to look. I made different character sketches. I did multiple lineups of the characters as well. I truly was putting
so much time into this, knowing full well that it would take me years and years to complete it if I were to actually animate it.
But I didn't animate one frame of animation. Cause you know why? Animation takes decades. It takes too long. It takes entirely way too long.
you got your rough storyboarding phase, which looks like this. Then you got your cleaned up animatic phase, which looks a little something like this.
Then you get to the rough animation phase, which looks something like this. So it's gonna be more choppy because you're just getting in those keyframes. So when you move on to the next phase, you're able to get in those in-betweens to make it look better.
And then we move on to this. It's a lot smoother. This is the tie-down phase of the animation process with more in-betweens. Then we move on to the clean animation phase where we clean up all the lines and it starts looking like how it's supposed to look almost. And then we have the final phase where we have the coloring, we have the shading, we have the compositing, the effects, all the yada yada, and it takes way too long.
And mind you, this is 6 seconds of animation from a 6-minute film. So who did I think that I was, thinking that I could finish a 122-minute film of this same caliber? I would be working like a dog, day and night, living off a coffee pot none of you want to touch. And you know what makes animation take even longer? Working by yourself. And something about me, a toxic quality about me that I need to fix about me is I work alone.
Always have been a lone wolf and probably always will be. Just
always work better on my own. And for that reason, I quit. I gave up. Threw in the towel. Slammed down the old pigskin and called her home for dinner. My time was up.
But then came
Step number 2.
The revelation, yeah.
I sat on the idea for years. It was really a story I loved, and I wanted other people to see this story and love it as much as I did. I needed people to see it and love it as much as I did. But I'm not as smart as my friend.
So when my friend said,
Oi, geezer, you're flogging a dead horse here, mate. You've been back and playing around the gaff about this bloody film. If you ain't got the bees and honey to animate it, and if you ain't got the time to be bothered, just turn it into a graphic novel. Why are you making things so difficult, mate?
Boy, and I sure was making things so difficult. He sure hit the nail on the coffin with that one. Pardon, hit the nail on the head with that. So at this point, I knew what I had to do. So then what I did was I went about using my spiritual mind instead of my spherical mind. See, I was looking at things through the lens of a perspective rather than looking through the spectacle of something that was receptive of what I didn't have yet. So when I started entering the coagulum and started looking at these luminaries through a different lens, it all made sense.
Cause comics, and graphic novels, now that makes sense, and that's something that I could do alone.
And a little secret fact about me, I guess, is when I was younger, I actually used to make some comics as well. So here's a few examples of those, just simple comics that I just made when I was younger.
All right, so now circling back to the nuclear family, I think it's time for us to move into step number 3, which of course would be, step number 3, adapting the style.
So this is how the previous one looked, and honestly the style for it was made specifically for animation, not for comics. And I know you can have it look the same, but I really wanted to differentiate the two. So when I was going into this, I was just like, I'm gonna give myself 3 other options other than this one, and then choose at the end.
plus, I mean, my OG boy had that Doritos body though. I don't know what I was thinking with that, bruh.
So next I found 3 comic book artists that I really like. So I found Tony Moore, who I'm a big fan of his work on The Walking Dead, the early issues. And then Isad Ribic, his work on Secret Wars is sublime. And Matteo Scalera, who worked on King of Spies. And dude, his style is just, oh man, it has like kind of that animation feel, like he pushes those proportions and stuff, but still has that realism in it. Shoot, he's good, dude. So what I'm gonna be doing with these is taking inspiration from these artists, not copying their styles one-to-one, because a style is something that's natural to you. So I'm gonna be imparting things that I like from each style and putting my own flair into it, because as individuals, we are all artists. Because each of our styles has its own voice, and it's up to us to make sure the voice is heard. Even in a dark room, you want to make sure your voice is heard. And similar to animation, comics have their own rules as well and their own pipeline. So they have the penciling stage, which you're looking at now. Then they have the inking stage, where you go in with ink and lines. And then you have the color stage, where you color it all in, of course. Sometimes there's a flat stage as well, and there's someone who does the flats. Of course, I'll be doing it all today.
So right here will be the inking stage. As you can see, this was for the quote-unquote Tony Moore type style. More of a simplistic style, still getting it down, but yeah, just trying to make him look a bit older. And then over here we move on to the Isad Ribic style. This is more realistic. It's almost like too daunting though for me to continue doing, because like as I was doing this, I was like, sheesh, I can't imagine doing this for hundreds and hundreds of pages. So in my head I already had an idea like, yeah, that's not sustainable, even just doing the inking for it. Then we moved on to this style where I got this super clean, nice brush that looked like actual ink, and I really wanted it to have that feeling of real ink on paper, and like the imperfections of it all and everything. And I really liked how my line weights were looking, how the shadows were looking and everything like that on this. And then I get into the coloring, and as you can see, it's kind of just basic two-tone shading and with a highlight and a rim light. And then I moved on to the Isad Ribic one, Probably saying his name wrong every single time in this. But yeah, he has more like of a realistic way he does his colors and stuff. So again, I was just thinking to myself, I will never finish this if I do it in that style. And yeah, so then I moved on to this one and I started having a lot more fun with it. I was giving myself room to mess around with tones and saturation as well as different textures. And it was really giving me a style that I was having a lot of fun with. And also more of a sustainable style as well, because I got to do this for multiple pages, multiple panels, so I've got to make it easy on myself. And here's the coolest part. This is the penciling stage right here. Here's the inking stage, and here is the final color stage. Look at how beautiful they all look. And I think when I was done, it was kind of obvious which one I was gonna choose, and which one do you think? And of course, I ended up having the most fun with doing number 4, so that is the style I chose. But wait, remember when I said Cayne is a 16-year-old boy? Well, he really doesn't look 16 now, does he? Well, in the first picture, he didn't really look 16 either. He looked more like he was 12. But I fear I overcorrected and made him look too old. And I was going to end the video right here and just be like, I'm good, but instead. And as one does, I started over again, and we'll just fast forward through all this.
And I wasn't just changing it because he didn't look 16. He was missing the innocence in his eyes that he had in the first one. Can't believe I forgot.
This is how it ended up looking.
And here's a side-by-side of the two covers, because here on Afro Ranch, we love a nice side-by-side. Wow, look at that. Doesn't that look like a comic book cover? Let's move on to the next part. Joker 2 sucks. Step number 4. Creating test panels.
Now, it was time to find a scene from my screenplay that we can test this style for.
No, this is one of my favorite scenes from the film. It's where you first see that Cayne has powers, that he has superpowers and abilities. I love this scene so much that I've actually done a style frame for it when it was going to be an animated film, and that's how this looks. And then I also made a 3D model of it for a board game that I made, and that's how this looks. Just a cute little guy. Don't worry about it. He's not going to hurt you. So it only made sense that for my test scene, I would use that moment, which reads as follows. He motions his hands over his mouth, creating a big beard and mustache composed entirely of fire. His brother bursts out into a fit of laughter. Truly what we're witnessing here is the one-of-a-kind foolishness that only siblings would find funny. And at that moment, they hear the unmistakable sound of the doorknob clicking. To be continued.
So honestly, what I'm doing here is I'm really just going through with what we learned earlier. So right now, what stage are we in? Yeah, we're in the penciling stage. And as you can see right here, I was using a 3D background for the bedroom of the character. Since I knew that would be a reoccurring thing, I figured I would use it in trace. If you want to call me a cheater for tracing, I don't care. All right, and now we're drawing the scene of his brother laughing. I kind of wanted to do a bunch of things with these. Show how a character looks from far away so I could see how I'm supposed to render them from far. See how I render them close up. That's why we have a close up on the brother's face laughing. And then also have like action shots, so boom, 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 you know, you're just looking through the image and you're getting a bit of bada bing, bada boom. And then we move on to the inking part. Everyone loves a good inking part. Yeah, as we move on to doing the background, I knew I kind of wanted to not be super detailed with the background, but just like have the idea of the background, because in comics, I realized they don't really focus as much on the background as they do for the characters, so that's what I did.
This comic page, these panels, they're all your special world. Do what you want with it. Get lost in it. Go deep in it. Get scared. What is that? What is that? Ah! Who are you? Who are you? Unhand me! Get away from me!
And this is the final page, and honestly, I like it. I dig it.
And now we will gingerly make our way down to...
Step number 5. These are our final thoughts.
You know what? I think I'm in a good place. I really like how these turned out. I love how the new cover looks. I'm liking how the style is gonna look for the inside of the book. And yeah, I'm just really excited for everyone to read this. I don't know when it will ever be out, but the Nuclear Family will come out in the future. I will make sure of it. There will be updates on this channel, so
Hope you're ready to take that ride with me, because it's gonna be a long ride. But it ain't about the destination, it's about the journey. But it's also about the destination, because you can't get to no destination without a journey. Thank you so much for watching.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that little bell icon on your way out. This is Afro Ranch telling you to always keep it cool and stay funky.